All right, we are live tonight. It is Monday night. I'm doing the question and answer session tonight. Had a lot going on this past weekend. All right, so I'll wait a few minutes, see if anyone gets in here as usual, and then then I'll get into a little bit of a story before we start because I had a fun kind of experience this weekend. We got one person in here. All right. So we got three people in here. Oh, you guys are jumping in here pretty quick. So I'll just get into the story since people are already coming in and out of here. So basically, this weekend, I went out to Lake Compounds. Actually, before I get into that, can you guys hear me all right? I know I use the earbuds, and I just want to make sure you guys can hear me all right. So give me a thumbs up, say hey, or we're good to go. Let me know if you can hear me all right. All right. So you never know with these live videos of my service in my house in my basement. So just let me know if you can hear me. All good? Oh, thanks, Emerson. All right. So if he can hear me, David hears me. Okay, you're all good to go. All right. So this weekend, I went to Lake Compounds with my kids. For those of you who don't know who Lake Compounds is, out here in Connecticut, there's a theme park. We have, it was thinking it has like the Boulder Dash, if you've ever heard of it. It's a roller coaster that was like rated best in the country. I believe it was 2014 and a few other years prior to that and stuff like that. But basically, is I took my kids there this weekend because we have kind of those passes and stuff like that. And it was the first time my 9-year-old ever went on a roller coaster in his life. So I get in there and I'm scooching myself in. I love roller coasters. I'm scooching myself in the seat, and somehow, for some reason, I remembered when I was a lot younger, I seemed to fit in there a lot better. I don't know how that works, but anyway, so we get in there. My knees are all cramped. I put the thing down, and my 8-year-old's right next to me, and we're getting ready to go. And we start going up the chain lift. I'm like, yeah, it's like this the whole time. Don't worry about it. It doesn't go very fast or anything. We're good. We're good. He's like, okay, okay. And then we start going. I'm like, it goes a little bit faster. He's like, okay. And then it goes down the hill. And we start getting lifted from our seat and stuff like that. And he was like, ah. And then towards the end of it, I remember what he was listening. He was just sitting there. He was like, this. He was like doing that. I'm like, is he okay? We finished. The roller coaster did his course. It took our picture when we were out there. And when he was done, literally it didn't come to a full stop. And he looks at me and goes, can we go on another roller coaster? I thought it was hilarious. I'm like, that's my boy. Can't go wrong with some good roller coasters. All right. So anyway, guys, so we're gonna be doing question and answers tonight here on Monday. Usually I do it on a Friday or a Saturday if need be, but I had stuff that actually came up, so I'm doing it tonight. All right. So yesterday I actually had a really bad migraine, so I was basically in bed most of the day. But so we're going to talk about it today. I only found four questions, four questions and comments that could actually adjust in this. So that's good because that means you guys have more opportunity to ask me questions or just interact or hang out with me. And now that I got 8 people in here, I see one thumbs up. So I'd appreciate it if it had multiple thumbs up with that. What's up, What's up from the Caribbean? How's it going, Rohan? Or Rohan? It's like Rohan, like Lord of the Rings type of deal right there. All right. So we are going to get into these four questions that I pulled up. All right. So the first one, the way how I do these, you guys been here long enough. Basically, I just tell the person who asked the question, and then I usually bring up the video they're talking about, and then I tell you the question or the comment that I want to address on here. And then when I'm done with that, then we go into just a live session where if you guys want to talk about whatever, ask questions, we get into it. So, this first question, actually, I'd say more of a comment that I got from Night Shadian. Night Shadian, I believe that's how you say it. This was on my video of Fear the Snubby. All right, Fear the Snubby. So, if you guys don't know what that video is, I'm talking about my Taurus Protector P or Protector Polymer 38 Special Plus P. It's a nice 5-shot revolver, very lightweight. It can fit in my pocket really nice. Fits in holsters very good. It's a very good gun. I shoot it good. I've never had a single issue with it for the years I've had it. And it's actually pretty darn accurate for a snub nose revolver in the right hands. So, and it happens to be pretty accurate in my hands. But anyway, so that's what that video was about. I said fear the snubby in that video. So basically what he says is, using speed strips. Now, first, I'm going to dive into this real quick because this is a mindset that I see a lot in YouTube. This is kind of the tactical mindset and what the tactical channels push. And a lot of people get that confused about what happens in real life. So I'm just going to put this one up there. He says, or she says, using speed strips or loaders are slow and can be a big challenge under muscle memory. Keep that in mind. He says under muscle memory. Um, Whereas racking to put a, or for a new mag is a lot easier, but to each their own. But most attackers these days have, or a lot of attackers these days, as he put it, carry double stack autos, is what he's put into it. Now, first I want to address this. There's a difference between the tactical and what happens in real life. All right, there's a difference between a tactical and what happens in real life. There's a lot of tactical channels and there's a lot of real life channels out there. There's some people that have actually defend themselves in civilian situations. I haven't had to do that yet, but there are some people like Paul Harrell and whatnot like that. And the specific thing that he did, the specific thing he had to do it, he used a snub nose revolver to actually defend himself in the real life. Um, Now, when it comes down to the tactical versus this, is basically what he's saying in this is he said using speed loaders or speed strips, if you don't know, that's like a little clip that you put like the rounds and put two at a time, is difficult to do under muscle memory. You don't understand what muscle memory is. All right. And I say, reminder that muscle memory is, okay, is when you practice something so much that it becomes second nature to you. So it is not difficult to do under muscle memory if you have the muscle memory to do that because you've been training and practicing to do that. And it really doesn't take that long to throw in another speed loader if you know how to do it well and you do and you have that muscle memory. So when he's saying under muscle memory, you can't do that. You don't understand what muscle memory is. Muscle memory is you change the speed loaders, you change it or you practice it so much that you can do it out of nowhere. So this is when it comes to revolver speed loaders, like a little, I have HRSs, you just put it in there, click it in there, turn a thing, and the rounds go in there, all go into the cylinder. It can be done. There is an off-duty cop that was carrying a snub-nose revolver, five-shot snub-nose revolver. This was years ago. I don't remember the exact details of the story, but it was like a barber shop or a salon. I don't know if it was I think it was a female. It was a salon, and there was three intruders that actually came in there, armed intruders that came in there. She had Snubby, and she defended the entire place, taking out. I think she took out two of the three people, or no, I think it was three people. She took all three out with a single 5 rounds from the snub nose revolver, and she still managed to throw a change in there. Right. In the real world scenario and all the research that I've done when it comes to civilians actually coming into a bad situation where they have to defend themselves with a firearm, most of the time when criminals, even if there's multiple criminals, show up, the second they start getting shot at, they run and they flee. Now, that's not going to be every single situation, but majority of situations, that is what happens. What's up, Joe? A majority of situations, that's what happened. They're cowards. They're looking for weak prey. The second they don't find weak, or the second they realize that the weak prey ain't so weak, they try to flee as quick as they can. Now, someone that's been training nonstop with speed loaders or speed strips with a snub nose revolver will do just fine in a situation like that if they make good placed shots. If you make the first shots, then there's a high probability most of the guys are going to run or some of them are going to fall down. That's how it works. So you got to separate that tactical nonsense that you learn on a lot of channels that say you need to carry multiple magazines and all kinds of ammunition because you're going to be attacked by pygmies and ninjas and 30 other dudes armed to the teeth with freaking Uzis or, other double stacks and, whatnot. You got to just, you have to do your own personal research into this. Go watch badge cams, go watch security footage, go watch that stuff. A great place to watch is Police Activity. Okay, that's a great YouTube channel. I watch them a lot. It's all badge cams, some security footage, mainly it's badge cams. But there's random stuff. You don't need a ton of rounds to defend yourself. Majority of the time you don't. It's always good to have extra rounds, but you don't need a ton. All right, but now moving on to the next one. So this one is from, now I know I'm going to butcher this name. I'm just looking. I got 8 people and only 5 thumbs up. I guess that means there's some people that don't like this video. So unless you threw me a thumbs up, then I'll know that you do like that video. And don't forget to tell your friends that I'm out live or, and subscribe if you aren't subscribed already because that helps push the channel. All right. So now the next one is coming from Doyle Swiernigan. Doyle Swiernigan. I don't, sorry, I butchered it, completely butchered it. So this is pretty, short and sweet question. So do you reload? If yes, what do you, or what equipment do you use? No, I do not reload. I've never learned how to reload. It is very expensive to get into it in the first place. So I haven't been able to put the money aside to actually do that, to get into it. And second, I don't trust my math as well as I would trust someone that does it for a living. Um, I've never really had any bad ammunition. I only had one really bad like batch of ammunition I've ever had in my entire life, and thousands upon I don't know how many thousands of rounds I've shot in my lifetime. But no, I don't reload. Would I like to? I thought about it. I really do, especially with the ammunition shortage that's going out here. I know some people that do reload. But me, honestly, I prefer just getting my stuff from the factory. I know it's more expensive that way and it's hard to come by, but that's where I am when it comes down to it. A good story is I told this to on the channel before, Joe. Yeah, Joe's in here. You give me a thumbs up. I told this channel in the channel before. Is there's this dude. He brought in a Glock 19. This one I worked at a gun shop, and the thing had literally exploded. I mean, literally split in half. It had exploded. The entire slide and the frame, just everything was gone. You're like, whoa, what the heck happened? He was reloading. Um, Apparently, it sounded like he was trying to get a 357 Magnum or a 44 Magnum load into a 9mm cartridge. I don't know. But it was such a bad load that the entire gun actually blew up and he actually injured his hand. They sent it into Glock because they wanted to make sure nothing, there was no manufacturer warranties or anything, or if there was a malfunction in the firearm or something like that. Glock sent a new Glock 19 back, and they said that after the investigation, if I remember, I don't remember the exact, they said it was loaded 200 times the pressure that it was supposed to be loaded for a 9mm. And within a month of him getting that new Glock 19, guess who showed up in the shop again with another blown up Glock 19? The same dude that reloads his own ammunition. So no, I don't reload my ammunition. I don't know how to. And honestly, I'll just buy my stuff from the factory. That's where I stand at. I don't shoot competitions or anything like that. So I'm good with what I got at the moment. All right. So I hope that answers your question, Doyle. Um, Now this other one is Dark Spectre 100. I think that's what it is. Dark Spectre 100. Yeah, tell me about it, Joe. And every time we saw that gun coming, we're like, dude, you just got this new one, and they just replaced it. They only replaced the one after the second one. They're like, no, we're not doing it again. So that's what the actual Glock. They're like, no, we're not replacing another one. That was your fault. You're loading them too much. So Dark Spectre 100. I think that's what it is. So the harsh truth. This is actually on the video about you are not tactical. You are not tactical is a video I did a long time, a couple years ago. The harsh truth about many YouTube channels. All right, just look at their fitness habits to separate them from the good ones or from the credible ones. Now, I would like to address that. Um, you don't need to be a, what do you call it, cross training crazy, competitor or whatever to know what you're talking about when it comes to firearms. You don't need to be a super thin dude that has an 8-pack or 6-pack abs with rock hard shoulders and tattoos going up and down your arms to be credible. All right. The problem is too many people act like that aren't credible when it comes to actual defensive situations. You don't believe me? Go up Larry Vickers. Go look up Larry Vickers. Go look up Ken Hackathorn, okay? Go look up people like that, and you will notice something that in their older age, okay, they are not the champions of the CrossFit arena, or whatever you want to call it. For the most part, like Vickers, for example, Larry Vickers, Delta Force. He's the one of leading trainings. He knows 1911s. He works with Wilson Combat. He teaches 1911s. He teaches all these high-end classes. He's done all this combat overseas. And you're telling me because he's out of shape that he is not credible for a become a firearms instructor? All right. Now, like you look at me like me, I am not in good shape. You guys probably tell I am not in good shape. I'm a big dude. All right, I'm a big dude. I used to be a lot thinner. I got out of the Marine Corps in 2006. Then I got out of the Arizona Army National Guard in 2012. All right, it is 2021. Oh yeah, Jerry Mitchell. It is 2021 right now. Just because I have gained this weight over these years doesn't mean that I'm not credible when it comes to firearm knowledge and when it comes to teaching. The same thing goes to a lot of people out there. You don't have to be a stud, all right, to be an instructor. You don't have to do that. You don't need to be the stub a stud to carry a gun and to defend yourself. You don't need that. What you need is you need to be able to pull the pistol out of the holster safely without shooting yourself or someone else. You need to safely get the first rounds on the threat before the threat gets their rounds on you. And you need to make the right decisions and not break laws in the process. That's what you need to defend yourself from a firearm. Now, when it comes to firearms instructors, there's a lot of civilians that never went into the military that are very good, are great when it comes to training and stuff like that. And they don't have the military background, and they may not be in the best shape. Some of them are in really good shape, but that doesn't mean they're not credible instructors. All right, so don't Joe, instructors aren't eye candy. Let's explain it like that. Instructors aren't eye candy. All right, it's the best way. I don't know how to explain it any other way. Being an instructor means that you know how to instruct, which is important. You can know the knowledge, but if you don't know how to instruct the knowledge and to teach other people, then you can't be an effective instructor. Because when it comes to instructing, all the things I've done when it comes to instructing, when it comes to firearms, when it comes to the Red Cross first aid, CPR, and AED stuff, is a two-way street. All right, if the instructor and the students help the class, all right, help the class go is the best way to say it. It's a team effort, okay? So the instructor teaches and the students give the feedback, and you continue it back and forth, and that's what creates the good content and the good instructional period. So you don't, like I said, you don't need to be a superstar to be a firearms instructor, all right, and to be a credible firearms instructor. So throwing that out there, Dark Spectre 100. All right. So street player. I don't know the fancy way to say it. Let's see. What did I put on this? Oh man, my handwriting's horrible. Oh yeah, black or dark clothes. Okay, so this video was regard to my last video I did about the carrying a full size pistol, 2021 updated about it. He brought up a good point that I forgot to mention in that video. When you're concealed carrying a full size pistol, one of the big things that you need that is very helpful is dark clothing. Just let these guys keep underestimating. They will see what practice does. Yep, exactly. Riz Tech. Right. So when you're wearing darker clothing, you can seal the lines and the printing of the firearm a lot better than you would if you were wearing light color clothing or neon color clothing or something like that. Because when you're printing, it puts all these shadows on your body of where the gun is printing and whatnot. So if you notice, most of the time I'm wearing some sort of dark gray, black, right? I like to wearing black a lot. I work my dark greens. I like kind of the darker colors is what I always use. And I'm glad he brought that up in the comment because I completely forgot to mention that into how to carry a full-size pistol video. So when you're carrying a full-size pistol, if you're trying to conceal it, you have to dress around the firearm, so you have to wear heavier clothing, not like super big clothing, but big enough that you can actually conceal it comfortably, and so it hides the shapes of it and stuff like that. And the darker the clothing, the better. So well put out there, so I'm glad he actually brought that up to it. So we got through those 4 questions pretty quickly tonight. So the channel is open for you guys to ask questions, chat, whatever you guys want to do. We are right here tonight. So go ahead and just start asking away whatever the questions are. We are open to whatever, all right? Any suggestions, any tips that you want to throw in there, what are concessions, you want to talk about Bigfoot, this is the time for it. So I'll be waiting for you guys to start responding, all right? Is it bad if your mag is rattling? Not necessarily. There depends on it. Like there's a lot. What's up, Arizona man? Like these are top quality Wilson Combat 1911s. The Wilson Combat. These are top quality. You hear it? I don't know if you can hear it all right. Just because it's rattling doesn't mean much. I mean, this is like the top of the line stuff when it comes to 1911 magazines. So you got the Wilson. All right. There's springs in there. There's the feeding in there, the feed ramp in there. What do you call it? The God, I'm lost for words today. The feeding lips or whatever that's in there. Basically, all that stuff's in there. It's moving around. It's not like it's compacted, but that stuff isn't like glued in there. So, what do you think of the cross draw holster position? Honestly, when it comes to cross draw, I don't think too much about it. I know there's a lot of old timers that do say it was a great way to carry, and it's been a way to carry for a long time. I tried it when I was younger, when I first started carrying a gun. I was trying to figure out how to concealed carry a gun. Didn't have YouTube to tell me how to do it. For some reason, when I put a Glock, it was a 22 cross draw seemed to fade away a little bit more different. But at the end of the day, my draw was crap because I had to reach all the way over there, and I wasn't a big fan of it. Some people are good with it. If you have the right holster for it, you need a good cross draw holster. You just got to keep in mind, usually cross draw, in my experience, is I don't know if they make the inside. I assume they do. Most cross draw are outside the waistband holsters. I like I said, quote me if I'm wrong, or correct me if I'm wrong. I've never seen an inside the waistband cross draw holster. So basically speaking, is you're going to have to wear a lot of layers of clothing on the front because you're going to have a big old bump kind of on their side. So it's not really good for concealed carry. But there may be someone out there that does it for a living, and maybe they could say differently. But when it comes down to me, I tried it for a while and it didn't work. It just didn't work very well. What's your main holster right now for your 1911? That is my Masters leather holster. That's my Masters leather holster. I showed it in that video that actually you saw the 1911 in. So bolt action for semi-auto for distance shooting. Well, it depends, Emerson. Both, there's some good quality guns out there. There are some very good quality guns out there. When it comes down to long distance shooting, the best, honestly, I think in general, I think the more accurate way to go would be a bolt action. There's less moving parts and whatnot, and the barrels are usually better. But there are a lot of people that will say the same for semi-automatics, depending on the rifle that they choose. Now, I don't know a ton about long-range rifles. I'm not big into long-range shooting. I have a Savage Axis 2 hunting rifle. That's my longer range. It's not even a long range. It's a longer range 308 that I use. But for most part, when I see someone that takes competition seriously, when I was working at the gun shop, if they want to take long range conversation competition seriously, they would usually go with a bolt action is what they would choose, and they have specialized barrels with different stuff, milling stuff like that. So, some people black out their black out their rear sights and pistol. Am I wondering why? No, that's actually a good question. I do like the blacked out the rear sights, but I like night sights, so my night sights are usually both sides on it. Basically, what it does, if you have a brighter colored front sight and you have a blacked out rear sight, what it does is when you're aiming in on the target, the first thing that your eye catches is the front sight. All right, because that's your bread and butter. The front sight is your bread and butter. So basically, the first thing you catch is that front sight, and it's easier to focus on the front sight and get it lined up than fighting through the other dots. And when you have like a 3 dot, you have to. It takes time to learn how to do it, but your eyes need to adjust. Yeah, it's worse when you're wearing glasses. I wear prescription glasses because it's harder to focus through the glasses to get the perfect focus that you want in the front sight and as quickly as you can. So when you black out the rear sights, you can just get a little bit better focus, a little better, sight picture when it comes down to it. So a lot of people like that specifically for competition. When it comes to my pistols, my pistols all have night sights, and all the night sights they're basically 3 dot sights with all of them have Trijicon inserts. Now, the only pistol I have that isn't doesn't have, actually I have 2 pistols that aren't night sights. That's my Taurus Protector Polymer, but that's a fiber optic front with a blacked out rear. Go figure. And then my Beretta 92, my standard Beretta 92 or my M9. That's just the classic M9, the 1 dot in the 1 dot sight, right? And I kind of like that one. So that's when it comes to that. That's why people like blacking that out. So any other questions? I'm here for you. You say I can only see a few questions at the time. I only have a small screen that I'm looking at here. So feel free to ask them. What do you guys think of my new hat? Yeah, like that? Bass fishing? Yeah, there we go. My daughter caught her first bass. I actually did that in my story. Was it last week? My daughter caught her first bass this year. It's kind of good to go. So I know, Joe. She was so excited, man. She was just so excited about it. It's been raining so hard out here, like just thunderstorms left and right. It's been ridiculous. That the lake that we go to is like completely flooded. So like we were going up to that. I'm like, how are we even going to get out there to like the good spots? So I'm like, what we're going to do is I was with my daughter. She's 13. Like we're going to look for activity in these little cove areas that are new for the fish. And if we see activity, we're just going to cast our Texas rig on top of them and hope it happens. And it just so happened the very first one she did, she smacked a largemouth on the head and he bit it immediately. She hooked it and brought it right in. So, and she won that day because I didn't catch anything that day. Lost that competition. So, okay, so we got any more questions out there? So, we got questions out there. Otherwise this video is going to be short, all right? Let's see. Just taking a look here, guys. If you got something you want to talk about, lay it on me. If not, then we're going to probably call it at the 30-minute mark or earlier. Here. Matt is 4 pound trigger, too light on the 1911. Castro, when it comes to the trigger, it comes down to the shooter. 4 pound is fine. 4 pound is pretty decent actually. Like your average like single action or like your striker fire pistols and whatnot, they're usually like a 5 to 6 pound trigger. Some you'll get lucky like 4 pound. A 4 pound trigger is kind of a sweet spot. But the thing when it comes to like my 1911 is I adjust the over travel enough that when it's on there, it fits my finger just right. And there's just a tiny bit of slack until I get to that break. And I don't know what the break is, but that thing is sweet. So going to Testeria, BBR3 1045 ACP. BBR3, not sure what that one is. Is that the new striker that they're coming out? I heard that Rock Island was coming out with a striker. I don't know much about it at the moment. So well, I think Rock Island. I still think 1911s. So I still think of nonstop. So, all right. So we got any more questions? If not, then I'm going to call it a night and it'll be a shorter video, but it is what it is. Now, it's a subcompact. Oh, the subcompact 45. The subcompact 1911. Yeah, some people like those. Some people like them. So when it comes to 1911s, I like the 5 inch. I like the standard 5 inch 1911s. You could go, the commander size. I've heard really good things of the commander side or size, and there's less metal moving on the slide, so the recoil might be a little bit better. Once you get smaller in a 45, it's harder to shoot. So, do you reckon the S15 mag or the Glock 10 round mag in the Kimber 1911? Hold on, I was kind of don't know if I can go back to that question. When it comes to, we were talking about a 1911 or a Glock. It's the 310. Oh yeah, 310. That's the what do they call it? The officer side, the officer size. So you have the government size, the 5 inch. You have the commander size, which is like 4 and something, and then you have the officer size, which is like a 3 inch, or it's like 3 something inch. So some people like it for concealed carry. When it comes to a bigger caliber like 45, I want a full size pistol or compact at the smallest. I'm usually going to stick with a full size when it comes to 45. No, when it comes to 1911 in general, when you're shooting it, the recoil impulse on the 5 inch 1911 with a 45 ACP, it's just a great feeling. It's fun, it's comfortable, and it's literally predictable. A 45 ACP and a 5 inch 1911, in my experience, is like the most predictable, boring, most predictable recoil that you'll ever have. The gun literally goes up and down to the same spot every single time you pull the trigger, and I love it. So. No problem, Michael. No problem whatsoever. All right. Do we have any more questions? I'll open the floor for one more question, and I'm going to call it a night. So, all right. So one more question. Let's see it come across, and we'll call it a night. It's all sweaty down here. It's nice and air conditioning up there, but in the basement, not so much. And my wife has turned this into her greenhouse. Oh my God. Wife has turned this into a greenhouse down here. So, do you recommend the 15 over the Glock 10 round magazine for the 43X or the Kimber W1911 any good? When it comes to the 43X, I don't know much about the 43X. Most people, it's when I see the 43, I see the reason behind the 43. You're making a very thin, very compact pistol. When you do the X, you make the extended. For me, I think that kind of, defeats the purpose of it. I don't know a ton about the different magazines they use for it because I just don't have that much experience with the 43. So, I mean, if it comes with, it's a Glock, just go with the standard Glock magazines that come with it. I'm pretty sure that's what the question was. I'm doing this on my phone, guys, so I can only see the question for like, keep them short, if it's short, that's good. I only see the question for like a short few seconds and then it's gone. So I hope that answers the question. If not, I'm sorry, man, I'm trying. So, all right. So unless he wants to correct that, then I'm going to call it a night. All right. So I'll wait another couple seconds, see if he wants to correct that, and then I'll call it a night. Sorry for the inconvenience, guys. I can't bring my laptop down here. The thing would overheat. So literally when I do these live videos, I'm on my cell phone and I'm sitting there staring at the small little screen where I'm doing it. And I'm trying to read the comments when it comes, but this tiny little bar that's down there. My glasses are up there. So if I put my glasses on down here, all you'll see are my background lights, and it's annoying. It annoys me when I see the videos. All right, guys, so I am calling it a night. All right, so thanks for joining me tonight. Yeah, go take a shower. Yeah, literally. Yeah, I'm already sweating down here. Just from sitting doing this 30-minute video, I'm sweating my butt off down here. All right, so, and it doesn't help. My wife has a freaking greenhouse sound. Is the Kimber LO 1911 any good? I'm not a huge fan of the Kimber 1911s. Now, when it came to Kimbers, is back in the day, when I was getting on the Marine Corps, there was two pistols I was looking at. One, which is the 2004 Pistol of the Year, which was the Ruger P345 PR, which I did buy when I finally got out, and the other was a Kimber Desert Warrior because I love 1911s. That was a cool looking 1911. And at the time, my buddy had a Kimber 1911. That thing shot well. He loved it the way how it worked. We had no complaints. He was a basic model. It was like kind of a loaded type of model, I guess you'd say. But the problem is over the years, Kimber's quality and their customer service has gone down a lot. Um, so their quality customer service has gone down a lot, but the price has not gone down a lot. So they're paying a lot of money for, kind of an inferior product now is when I see Kimber. So some people will argue with me and stuff like that. That's just my personal experience with Kimber. That's the experience when I worked with FFL. He was going to be he was going to be a partner with Kimber, but with the customer service issues, he's like, no, we're not doing it. It's not worth working with you guys. Now it comes to magazines. When it comes to magazines, I have a Kimber magazine. It's one of the first 1911 magazines I worked. That's the only magazine I own that I have malfunctions on. All my other magazines, I don't. The magazines I use are primary Wilson, and this one's actually the Rock Island. The only issues I had with this is I dropped this once and the base plate came off, and that's it when I was changing the mags. Next to that, this one cycles good. So, who Cerakoted my gun? Rock Island did. When I got it, that was the specific model that came that Cerakoted. They call it like a brown. It looks more like an OD green to me. So, anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video tonight. So I had fun hanging out with you. I hope I answered those questions for you guys and those comments. So as it is, guys, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about this channel, as I always say. And remember, guys, it's our responsibility to take care of each other and protect each other. Peace.